Assalamu alaikum, adab, namaste, very good afternoon from Beaver Studio in Bolton, UK. This is Imtiaz Patel, Varediawala here, and this show, as you know, or if you don't know, then this show is called the Varediawala Show, which comes under the category of community window. As you know, that we bring a lot of information which empowers community and which reflects the positive practices going in our communities. And today we have again a very interesting, very inspiring story from Bolton, and it's about Bolton Hospice. And before I start this program, one beautiful couplet comes to my mind. I was talking to the panel before the program in terms of our background informations and exchange of ideas and informations, how we are going to take this information into you further. And what I gathered is what Bolton Hospice does, it reflects in this one beautiful couplet, which is in Urdu, and it says that yahi hai ibadat, yahi hai dino iman. Yahi hai ibadat, yahi hai dino iman, ke kaam aaye duniya mein insan ke insan. That's exactly what we are going to talk about today. It is our privilege and honor to welcome Bolton Hospice. Wonderful team. And I'll start introducing Adrian Vicker here. He is a head of income generations, and he will talk more about his role and his responsibility within Bolton Hospice. We are also very privileged to have Muntazir Dipoti Bhai or Muntazir Bhai. He is a Bolton Hospital key ambassador at the moment, playing a very key role in terms of bringing different communities together and connected them with the Bolton Hospice. And we are waiting for Latif Bhai Jiwa, who will join us literally in 10-15 minutes, and he's our lead fundraising officers. So Mr. Adrian Vicker and Mr. Muntazir Dipoti Bhai, welcome to Beavers Media.
Thank you.
How do you feel this afternoon? How does Ramzan affecting you as an individuals and you as what's the atmosphere within the Bolton Hospice?
Well, to be honest with you, at this time of Ramadan, Bolton Hospice, it's always buzzing because for me, especially because Ramzan is a period where our lives get busy around the extra prayers and fasting and this, that, the other, but also having the responsibility of going around so many mosques to go and do the collections, it becomes even more busier. But yeah, it's alhamdulillah, it's good.
Right. Is it okay if I call you Adrian?
Yeah, sure.
Adrian, just introduce yourself very briefly in terms of your background, what made you to get connected with Bolton Hospice, and briefly your role and responsibility within this wonderful institutions who does a lot of great humanitarian work. And this quotation reminds me that I think when I was doing some paperwork in terms of Bolton Hospice and preparing myself for this interview, I came across with this wonderful quotation which I would like to dedicate it to you guys as far as Bolton Hospice is concerned, that what they are doing is that adding life to days when days cannot be added to life. And we'll talk about that very philosophical quotations. But Adrian.
Oh, that's a beautiful quote.
Thank you.
Well, my name's Adrian Vickers. I'm the head of income generation at Bolton Hospice. I've worked for the hospice now for almost 4 years, and it's an absolutely wonderful place to work. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about the hospice as we go on today, but it really is a positive and uplifting place to work. My role in the hospice, as my title suggests, is about raising income for the hospice. The hospice is a charity. We have to raise around £5.5 million every single year to maintain the services that we provide to the Bolton community. And to do that, we do it in multiple ways, through fundraising activity, through our retail shops, through legacies in wills, through our lottery, and through individual donations from both the community through individual and local businesses as well.
Right, great stuff. So you deal with the figures and income,
yes,
to make sure that financial resources are in place in order to. So there is a little bit of misunderstanding because I'm not very familiar with the concept as Bolton. are you a part of like NHS, or are you a kind of independent charity, works very closely with mainstream health institutions? Can you clarify that?
Sure,
quickly?
we're a charity that works quite closely with the NHS, as for obvious reasons. We receive a small amount of funding from the NHS every year. We receive about £1 million a year from the NHS. But to put that into some perspective, that £1 million hasn't really changed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So the rest of the £7 million that we have to raise every single year purely comes from our own fundraising activities.
Nice.
Obviously, we're very, very grateful from the support of the NHS and from the local authority. But the vast majority of our funding comes from charitable donations.
Nice one. Muntazir Bhai Dipoti, nice to see you. And it's so inspiring for people like me, because I'm also reasonably active on a community and social front, that young people are now taking certain issues quite seriously. And tell us something about yourself, your background, where were you born, your bit of your academic kind of background, and what made you to get connected with Bolton Hospice, please.
So my background is in retail industry. So I'm like a consultant in retail industry. However, my background with Bolton Hospice came from when my father passed away. When my father was diagnosed with cancer, going back in 2009, he went through the journey of the cancer, and that everything was fine, and then the cancer reappeared back in 2011. When we went to the doctors, my dad was given 12, a year, maximum of a year. Unfortunately, he passed away within literally 10 weeks. I didn't know anything about Bolton Hospice at this time. At the point where when my dad was in hospital, or about any of the services at the time. At the last week of my father being in hospital, as we all know in our Asian culture, there's so many people, friends, family, relatives would like to come and visit. Because he was in the ward, it was very difficult, but we were still managing it. And it was very difficult. However, at the end, towards on his last day, the nurses and the doctors were getting extremely kind of angry, which you can understand, because the most of the ward wanted to go sleep, and there's still loads of people wanted to come and visit my father. So around 10:30, the nurses and the doctors said, "That's it now. You all need to go." Which at that point I made the decision, saying that to my family, that you all guys, everyone go home. If anything changes, I'll let you all know. And literally within my family leaving the hospital, within 20 minutes, my dad passed away. So the journey, what we've gone through, and then literally about a year later, about 6 months later, I got to know about Bolton. I met a colleague, Suleiman Konat, who I work closely with in the retail industry.
Okay.
And he mentioned to me about East Lancashire Hospice. And through Suleiman Bhai, I've learned about what hospice was in Blackburn. And then I thought, right, okay, this is really good. And if I knew about these services when my father was in hospital, it would have been so much different. We could have spent a lot more quality time, and the family would have not been under pressure of leaving the hospital and this, that, the other.
Mm-hmm.
So my journey has begun with Bolton Hospice about 11 years ago. And from 11 years ago, where I've started helping Bolton Hospice to make sure that the key message is to make awareness within our Asian community that we have got this services available. And I don't want another family to go through what we went through.
I mean, if it's a personal question, just you can skip it and then we'll go on to the another topic. But many Asian families, inverted comma, are being affected with life-threatening disease, i.e. cancer and so on and so forth. And they do go through the process which you have gone. Well, what made you to take this quite seriously, and then what came to your mind and heart that you're not going to just let this issue go, and this hospice has given you something to you and your family, and then you felt that you need to play a part within this organization and setup, because a lot of people walk away, not with a bad intention, but rightly or wrongly, but you thought about it, that this is something you got in return as far as the end of life care for your father, and rather than leaving Bolton Hospice there, and then you got connected. So what was so kind of, what thoughts came to your mind?
I think, no disrespect to the NHS, to the Bolton Hospital, they did their best, and I totally understand, the services, like, and the extreme pressures that they are in. However, I think it's important that when I got connected with the hospice and seeing the services, how they provide all the services, the care, how the facilities work, and what was really good thing about the hospice was, for our Asians, is exactly like a private hospital. First and foremost, it's got 24 hours access. So if your loved one is in Bolton Hospice or any hospice, but I know about Bolton Hospice, it's got 24-hour access. So, for example, they'll give you a key code, they'll give you an access key. So whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or whether it's 9 o'clock at night, it doesn't matter. Any time of the day, you can go and visit your loved one. There's no restriction whatsoever. The other thing is, within our Asian community culture, we would like to, we have large families. We all want to be around our loved one. We want to have a meal together. Everything. Wherever you want, or wherever your wish is, that's where hospice comes in to fulfill that dream for you.
Oh, I see. Right. So maybe, I don't know whether Adrian wants to take up this question, or yourself, Muntasibai, but many people may not realize just how accessible Bolton Hospice is, and by listening to your conversation, it seems like that their cultural and their faith need also taken in care of when they are dealing with the person of faith background. But how do you actually get this message out, and how do you take people in confidence that look, end of life inverted comma plan, and which once you transfer from NHS to Bolton Hospice, all your faith and cultural needs will be looked after. So what about the staffing? What about their training? And how do they take faith community, South Asian community in confidence?
Well, we try to approach care in a holistic way. All of our team members are trained on how to appreciate and respect cultural differences, and to be fully aware of it all the time. But a big challenge for us as well is about reaching out to different faith communities, which is why we're teaming up with Monty, and why we're here today. We already do a lot within different communities within the Bolton area, but we really, really want to do more, both from an educational point of view, but also reaching out to those communities and helping them to realise that we are there for them as well.
Okay. So in terms of your staff, do you have staff belonging to different faith and different culture?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
Okay. But on back of that, regarding the question on the staff, also Bolton Hospice and other hospices there is a hospice in every town or city, and I think that's vital to know for the Asian community out there. So every town or city will have an hospice, but every hospice also have quite a number of volunteers. So, for example, in Bolton Hospice, they have volunteers who are who can speak multi-language with the patients, so there's no issues whatsoever on that side.
So how do you recruit volunteers who get qualified to work with your team? Because the whole concept, the whole situations, the time, the circumstances what I gather now, can be and is very, very sensitive. So you have patients to deal with, you have family members to deal with, you have got their physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health to take care. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
So the whole process seems quite delicate and quite sensitive. So what's the volunteer's role, and how do they get qualified to become a volunteers for Bolton Hospice?
So we have over 600 volunteers working for Bolton Hospice. Around about 400 work in our fundraising area, in our shops and with our fundraising teams, and the remaining work within the hospice environment. All of our hospice volunteers, before they join us, are interviewed. They're DBS checked as well, and volunteers join us for lots of different reasons. Some may have a personal connection to the hospice. Some may have a personal connection to the community. They might want to join for their own personal reasons, for their own personal development as well. But everybody is vetted before they join our hospice team, and then they're put into positions that are appropriate for them as well. But as I say, that every single volunteer is also DBS checked as well.
Okay, so what's the procedure if somebody is listening to this interview, and if they find this information interesting, inspiring, and have got some ability and skills to offer to Bolton Hospice, what's the procedure? How do they become volunteers?
Reach out to us. I mean, you can reach out via our website, or through our social media channels, or just by giving us a call. There's a simple form to fill out, and our volunteer team will then go through it, assess it, and then reach back out to you and discuss what you're looking for from your volunteering journey with Bolton Hospice.
Oh, I see. Before I come to the next question, I should have asked this question, Muntazi bhai, before that. Your title, which I have learned, that Bolton Hospital Key Ambassador.
Bolton Hospice.
I beg your pardon. Bolton Hospice. I beg your pardon. I need to change my glasses. Bolton Hospice Key Ambassador. What does it stand for, and where does this title come from? Please.
To be honest with you, it was quite heartwarming in the sense, because of the effort that I've put in over the last number of years. Last year, Bolton Hospice decided to kind of an award, is it? Or
to honor you with that title.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really quite satisfying, and it's quite a recognition. Really.
No, 100% I agree. But my aim and my goal is it's all about making awareness to the Asian community, and by helping also fundraising for Bolton Hospice as well.
So how do you justify your role as a Bolton Hospice Key Ambassador?
How do I justify it?
I think I can answer that. I can answer that. So listen, Monty has been absolutely amazing, as well as his fundraising efforts. Monty will come to us with ideas, will come at situations from a different angle, with a different set of skills, different experience, and give us suggestions of ways of fundraising that we wouldn't even think about doing. So Monty, I think that kind of sums it up really. It's a real sort of 360 approach to it.
Indeed.
As well as the actual physical fundraising that he does for us. He's actually bouncing ideas off us. He's talking to us on a regular basis. He's got he's got a great relationship with our fundraising team, with Catherine as well. Yeah. So it's really well deserved.
Indeed. I mean, one of the reasons I thought it would be interesting to ask this question, because we have got very large youth and young people follow our social media, and without embarrassing Muntazir bhai, I would like to say that he's a role model as far as the Bolton Hospice is concerned, as far as the community service is concerned, as far as the services to humanity and giving back to the society. We need good role model in respective area, and hence I thought it would be interesting to find out that how do you feel about being an ambassador of Bolton Hospice. But I think Adrian has explained very well. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Imtiaz Patel Varediawala Show, and we have a wonderful team from Bolton Hospice. We've been listening to the wonderful conversation, very useful conversations, and some fantastic reply from Adrian and Muntazir bhai. And now we have been joined by Latif bhai Jiwa, who is reasonably, I would say reasonably, not that I would like to pump up his ego, familiar in the Northwest and in the UK and around the world. And he's a lead fundraiser. But before I ask one technical and financial question to Latif bhai, who is very good with finance and fundraising, how do you reassure that family who still feel anxious and unsure about shifting from mainstream NHS to Bolton Hospice? What would you say to them?
Do you want to take this?
Yeah, I'll take this.
And then
I think that the main thing you need to understand and to remember about hospice care is that hospice care is about living. Yeah. Most people think that hospice is a place of sadness or it's about dying. It's about living. And at Bolton Hospice, and indeed every hospice would probably agree with me, that we are all about making memories and enjoying every single moment. And we feel that we're best placed to do that within the community.
Okay, that's nice one. Now,
Sorry, just add to what Adrian
Please.
said. I think having seen sort of the work of the hospice, the services that they offer as well, that it is effectively from the care and the services that a hospital provides versus what the hospice provides is fundamentally different. It's all about sort of like a holistic method of caring.
okay,
It's taking sort of the whole family unit. Obviously, the patient is the center of this, but also at the same time, the family people also need support as well, which is obviously underlooked within the NHS. And that's not because the NHS don't want to do that. It's just because of the services and the prioritization they have to do. So ultimately, what the hospice does is sort of look at it as a, the whole family as a unit, and providing sort of that care. And I think families should be encouraged that to go to the hospice if they need the services, because they will find sort of, a lot of support, a lot of care, a lot of comfort, a lot of people who've been through that experience and have time for them. Unfortunately, the NHS doesn't have time for everybody, again, just because they're understaffed, under-resourced, etc. Whereas the hospice sort of like take that extra effort and do the extra mileage in terms of providing that care with everybody around.
I mean, that's great. Thanks for that supporting statements, Latibai Jiwa. Welcome to Bebas, and would you kindly, because these two gentlemen have completed their rituals and formality by introducing themselves, would you kindly do so? Briefly talk about, introduce yourself, your academic background, and what made you to get connected with Bolton Hospice.
Sure, thank you very much. I think obviously you've done a wonderful introduction already, which is why. So thank you for that. Latif Jiva, I'm Bolton born and bred, worked and lived around the world. And I've been back in Bolton for the last 20 years. And since then, I've been trying to give back to the community, get involved in community initiatives with the youth, with the mosque, wider field, like, for example, Bolton Hospice. I got engaged with Bolton Hospice sort of several years ago through Muntazir and the good work he was doing. And when I found out about sort of understanding sort of what the hospice offers and what the hospice does, I thought it was a fantastic facility and very underutilized by members of our community. And I think that's important because there are a lot of facilities within Bolton and around the Northwest that I don't think members of our community know about and utilize as much as they should. And it's about breaking down those barriers, helping them to understand actually what the hospice can offer. And since then, I've been helping to sort of like get involved in fundraising initiatives. So last year, my son and I, we did the Bolton Marathon, London Marathon. Bolton Marathon I've just done. London Marathon, and we managed to raise just under £5,000 for the hospice, and continuing to look to do the same as well. I'm also involved in a club called the Tri Rivington, so they also support Bolton Hospice as well when they can.
I was going to ask you that when I was doing my research for this interview, the last year we saw an incredible example of community spirit when yourself, I think your family members as well, and some of the friends did this London Marathon and raised almost £5,000, and that news became quite, I would say, striking news and inspirational news from local to global. And a lot of young people then started thinking about doing something very positive. So tell us very briefly about that. Where did this idea came to you, and then how did you feel about going through this London Marathon, which sounds like a very marathon, raising £5,000, and what impact that had in terms of on Bolton Hospice and generally onto the society?
So my journeys, I've always been involved in sports and challenging myself. I think it's a personal thing that I do, and sort of it helps me sort of, with wider aspects of how I approach life. So a challenge is always sort of something that I sort of aspire to. And London Marathon, I did that, the first London Marathon, I did that nearly 27 years ago. And I got an opportunity to try and see if I could basically still see if I've got that in me. So the opportunity came through a friend of mine who offered me a place. And I sort of decided, right, actually, let me see if I can still achieve that, because a marathon is a very hard thing to do. 26 miles of running, and training takes a lot of effort. So, but I also wanted to tie that in with something that, there was not only a personal challenge, but also giving back, as I said, and sort of, what I aspire to do now. And sort of when Muntaz and I were talking regarding Bolton Hospice, I thought this was really worthwhile, because two fronts basically help. Obviously, the people who are donating, which were amazing sort of donations came through friends and family. So thank you all for that. But also giving them an insight into what the hospice does as well. So not only were they sort of giving donations, but it also helped to sort of open up the hospice to them and understand what they can offer. And the fact that the hospice provides a fantastic service for Bolton community. And that's why I sort of made Bolton Hospice the sort of my sort of celebrity charity cause.
Did you go for that London Marathon?
No. Do you really think I could do 26 How much it cost?
Just to put the record on straight.
No.
I did encourage him, but he wasn't ready for this.
I was just there in the background supporting.
More support.
That's more important. I think.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But I think just just on back of what Latik Bhai have said regarding, so he chose the marathon, but just for the audience, for the message to go out to people, whether if any mosque wants to do any charity, walking or with groups of children or anything, whether you've got firms, companies out there who wants to do any charitable work or anything like that, all they need to do is just get in touch with us, and we can help them, guide them and give them the tools and everything that they need to do to organize something together, and then Bolton Hospice will support that.
Yeah, Mara, Adrian, just excuse us if I can switch from English to South Asian languages, because our audience, again, as far as youth, it's a multi-faith, multi-linguistic audiences, and I think it would be fantastic to convey this message in Asian languages as well for those who may not follow the English as we would expect, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, આપણે આ હોસ્પિસનો જે કોન્સેપ્ટ જે છે લતીફભાઈ અને મુંતજીરભાઈ, એ તમને લાગે છે કે આપણા સમાજની અંદર, ખાસ કરીને આપણી જે સોસાયટી, ચાહે એ પાકિસ્તાનથી આવેલા હોય, ઇન્ડિયાથી આવેલા હોય, બાંગ્લાદેશ, શ્રીલંકાથી, અને ખાસ કરીને પહેલી બીજી જનરેશનની અંદર આ હોસ્પિસનો કોન્સેપ્ટ ક્લિયર છે કે ભાઈ હોસ્પિસ શું છે? I mean, I had very limited knowledge. Since I spoke to you guys, and since I've been doing some research for the past couple of days, as you were going to come, it has opened my eyes. So, where does Asian community apne a concept છે familiar કે hospice લતીફભાઈ?
I do મને નથી લાગતું કે છે બરાબર, ક્લિયરલી નથી. જે લોકોને એક્સેસ મળ્યું છે ને તે લોકોને દેખે છે, બટ એની બહાર છે ને બહુ લોકોને ખ્યાલ નથી આવતો કે શું છે, કે એ હોસ્પિસ હું ઓફર કરે છે. ને એની અંદર અમુક મસ્જિદોએ કર્યું છે, પૈસા દીધા છે, બધા આવે છે, તે ડોનેશન દીધા છે, અને તે સારી વાત છે. બટ એકચ્યુઅલી શું કરે છે ને હું એકચ્યુઅલી સર્વિસીસ ઓફર કરે છે ફેમિલીને, પેશન્ટને શું થાય તે નથી ખબર. અને એ ખાસ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે કે આ ઇન્શાલ્લાહ મેસેજ છે ને બહાર જાય ને તો ખબર પડે કે એકચ્યુઅલી વોટ ધ હોસ્પિસ ઓફર્સ, કે હું બધાને ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી મળે છે અંદરથી.
મુંતઝભાઈ, તમે અંગ્રેજીમાં બહુ પાવરફુલ અને બહુ પર્સનલ સ્ટોરી શેર કરી અમારા ઓડિયન્સીસને સાથે, વી આર થેન્કફુલ ફોર ધેટ. ગુજરાતીમાં 2-3 મિનિટમાં એ આખી તમે સ્ટોરી કહી શકશો કે તમારા ફાધરને શું થયું હતું, અને ત્યાર પછી NHS થી એમને હોસ્પિસની અંદર જે આપણે લઈ ગયા, ત્યાં પછી એમની જે કેર થઈ અને તમને જે નાનું ઇન્સ્પિરેશન મળ્યું, તો એના વિશે આપણા લોકોને કહો કે ભાઈ હોસ્પિસ કેટલી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે.
So hospice છે ને end of life care છે. So તમારા હોસ્પિસમાં શું છે તે to be very clear, તે બધાથી હોસ્પિસમાં ના જવાય. hospice study.
એ referral hospitals કરી શકે. If I'm not wrong.
Referral
Yeah, you
hospital.
cannot directly enroll yourself.
we can't just go directly
Yeah.
to Bolton. So એ referral થઈ શકે અને referral તમને મળી જાય તો પછી એ લોકો તમને full service દે. તમારે choice છે. તમને Bolton Hospice માં રહેવું યા તો તમને ઘેર સર્વિસ જોઈએ.
Yes, yeah.
તમને ઘરની હોમ સર્વિસો મળી શકે અને ફૂલ એવું તમને 4 વખત ડોક્ટરની જરૂર યા નર્સની આપવાની જરૂર હોય.
Sorry to pause you. જ્યારે એમને એવું લાગે કે હવે પેશન્ટને એ કોઈ પણ જાતની ટ્રીટમેન્ટ યા કોઈ પણ જાતની વધારાની મતલબ કે મેડિકલ હેલ્પ ના કરી શકે અને પેશન્ટનો ટાઈમ આવી ગયો છે એમની રીતે મેડિકલી રીતે આપણે જિંદગીને મોત તો અલ્લાહના હાથમાં છે અને ફેથ કમ્યુનિટીની બિલીફ છે પરંતુ એમનું લાગે કે હવે આ મેડિકલ અમારથી કશું જ નહીં થાય ત્યારે એ લોકો તમને ચોઇસ આપે કે યા તો તમારા આપણે પેશન્ટને કોઈ ફેમિલી મેમ્બરને હોસ્પિસમાં લઈ જાઓ યા ઘરે લઈ જાઓ. બરાબર છે ને?
ચોઈસ તો નથી દીધા એ લોકો છે ને તમને એવું કે તમે ઘેર લઈ જાઓ. હોસ્પિસનું તો એ લોકો કેટલા વખત કોઈ કહેતા જ નથી ડોક્ટર લોકો. ડોક્ટર લોકો તો કહે જ ના.
So how your father
મારા પપ્પા હોસ્પિસમાં ગયા નથી પણ આ જર્ની કેવી રીતના ચાલુ થઈ હતી તે પપ્પા જ્યાં હોસ્પિટલમાં ઉતારની તો અમને ખાસી તકલીફ પડી હતી બીકોઝ આપણું આવું છેલ્લા 2-4 દિવસોની અંદર આપણું લોક બહુ જ આવતું હતું મળવા બીકોઝ આપણું આવું પેલું ફર્સ્ટ જનરેશન ના હતા. સો એની થ્રુ આપણે હોસ્પિસનું અમને ખબર હોત તો અમારી દીકરે બહુ બધું આસાનીથી બધું થઈ ગયું હોત કામ પણ મને પછી બધી મોડથી પપ્પા ગુજરી જવા પછી મને ખબર પડી
કે એક સવલત એક ફેસિલિટી જેનો આપણે ફાયદો અથવા તો એ ફેસિલિટી આપણે ઉપયોગ કરી શકતા તો ફાધર માટે ફેમિલી માટે બધા માટે બહુ સરસ સપોર્ટ સિસ્ટમ ત્યાં હતી કે હોસ્પિસ ઓફર કરી શકતી હતી. એમાં મેડિકલ સપોર્ટ, ઇમોશનલ સપોર્ટ, ફેમિલી સપોર્ટ, બીજી બધી રીતે પણ મતલબ સાયકોલોજીકલ સપોર્ટ. Oh, I see. So you missed out that basically because you were not aware of it.
સો એની ઉપરથી હવે મને જે અમે અમારી ફેમિલીની હાથે ફ્રૂ ગયા હતા તે મને જે આ હોસ્પિસનું બધું શીખ હોત એની અંદરથી મને હવે બીજી કોઈ ફેમિલીને જે અમે
એ જે સફરિંગ અને એ જે તમે આખી જર્ની મતલબ જે બહુ ડિફિકલ્ટ હતી એ પાસ થયા કદાચ હોસ્પિસમાં ગયા તો એમાં થોડીક આસાની
આસાની મદદ બી મળે ઇમોશનલ સપોર્ટ બી મળે તમને કાઉન્સેલિંગ બી મળે ને એક ખાસ શું છે કે 24/7 છે
એક્સેસ જે છે તે 24 એ આપણી દીકરી મેઇન છે તે આપણે 24 કલાક તમને $10 બેડની રાઉન્ડ રહો તે $20 રહો તમને $30 ને હાથે ખાવું તો આ લોકો તમારી દીકરી બધી ફેસિલિટી તમારી દીકરી તમને જેવું કરવું હોય તેવું આ લોકો
જો એક પ્રાઇવેટ મતલબ સેટઅપ હોય ત્યાં જે હોસ્પિટલના અમુક લિમિટેશન્સ હોય રૂલ્સ રેગ્યુલેશન્સ હેલ્થ એન્ડ સેફટી એ લિમિટેશન્સ થી બહાર નીકળીને અહીંયા એવું લાગે કે ભાઈ એક જાણે ફેમિલી પ્રાઇવેટ રૂમ જ છે જ્યાં બધી ફેસિલિટી છે એટલે આપણને પેલું બધું ટેન્શન ના રહે કે કોણ આવે કોણ જાય કોણ નથી આવી શકતું કોણ નહીં આવી શકે આપણે આપણી રીતે પણ જે ઇસ્લામિક રીતે યા પછી હિન્દુ ધર્મનો કોઈ માણસ હોય તે યા એ લોકો પોતાનું રિચ્યુઅલ કરી શકે
બધી મુલ્કી ફેથ ને
માણસ રિલેક્સ
એવું ખાસ આપણે યાદ રાખવાનું છે આપણે ઘરમાં ફેસિલિટી ના હોય તો પછી ઓલ્સો કે બીજી એક્સટેન્ડેડ ફેમિલી ને પેલા નાના છોકરા હોય એમને પછી પ્રેશર આવી જાય આવું બધું થતું હોય ને તો પછી આ હોસ્પિસ શું કરે કે બેસિકલી આ ફેસિલિટી હોય કે તમારે બેસિકલી એ outside of the house કે તમારે પેલી બ્રેક બી મળે પછી તમે ઘર જો તો તમને થોડીક બ્રેક બી મળે એવું ને એ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે કે એવું એ બધું
અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ. સો તમે પણ કોઈ પણ ટાઉનમાં રહેતા હોય બોલ્ટનમાં રહેતા હોય બ્લેકબર્નમાં રહેતા હોય યુકેના કોઈ પણ ખૂણામાં તો કદાચ જો તમારી ફેમિલી મેમ્બર્સ કોઈ એવા સ્ટેજ પર પહોંચે જે હોસ્પિટલ એને ટર્મિનલ ઇલ અને એન્ડ ઓફ લાઈફ પ્લાન આપે તો ત્યાંની લોકલ હોસ્પિસ વિશે તમે જાણો અને અમે તમને પ્રોત્સાહન આપીએ છીએ કે બજાય કે એ આપણા ફેમિલી મેમ્બરને જે એન્ડ ઓફ લાઈફ પ્લાનમાં આવી ગયો છે એને ઘરે લઈ જવાના બદલે જો એને હોસ્પિસની અંદર જો જગા મળે તો એ આપણા માટે બહેતર ઓપ્શન છે. Gentlemen, we got 5 minutes and I got 2-3 another further questions. Adrian mentioned, sorry, would you like to say something?
Yeah, just on back of what you've just said there, I think the key message for me from this program, what I would like to share out is if any time, if your loved one or if there's a time where your loved one is on end of life care and you need or even at the beginning when you've been told that you've got cancer, if there's any help that you need or any guidance, I'm willing to help anyone out there. Just I'm happy for you to share my number.
It might be useful if you would like to share that number.
My number is 07970 632-167. And you are happy to assist in any way which we can. It doesn't matter whether it's in Bolton, Preston, Lancaster, doesn't matter, because the services will still be the same everywhere.
MashaAllah, there you go. Adrian just mentioned right at the beginning that financial resources are equally important. That is an independent charity. Though NHS does have a mechanism to support Bolton Hospice, and I am assuming that applies to other hospices around the UK as well. Now, your total budget, you have mentioned something about that. Where do you stand in terms of your financial resources? And apart from what you have done, raising fund for the Bolton Hospice, as far as the contribution from the South Asian community, which is equally important because we are part of that society, what are the plans for the future fundraising activities? I mean, how have you thought about any more? Are you doing any more marathon where I think maybe this time Muntazir and myself may consider joining?
Always welcome.
I don't know about Adrian. Like we got mosque, which is quite powerful institutions, madrasas, and many more fundraising activity takes place. So, what are your future plans for fundraising? So, and how you envisage to support Bolton Hospice?
Yeah, so there more. I'm involved in more events this year, and inshallah, I will be planning that to raise more funds for Bolton Hospice as part of that as well. Alongside that, I think I'm not sure if Muntazir has spoken about the mosque collections during Ramadan as well.
No, I'm good. I was good.
I think that's critical as well, especially now in the next sort of 10 days that we've got left. That it's something that it's important to give back into the community and into this facility. And for myself, I've got sort of a few more events planned. I'm going to keep that hush hush at the moment, but that it will all be tied into fundraising, and especially for Bolton Hospice as well.
Adrian, what are your expectations in terms of fundraising from the different sector of the communities, and do you have any targets?
We don't have specific targets for specific communities, but as I said right at the beginning, we have to raise around £5.5 million every single year. So we're about to go into our next financial year. £5.5 million target. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. A big chunk of that comes from our retail shops throughout the Bolton area and through our fundraising activities. So we're always looking for other avenues to raise funds for the hospice.
Okay, nice one.
And I think the key thing, for the audience, is the key message that £5.5 million, what Adrian have just mentioned, that £5.5 million, we can't go to Manchester, we can't go to Leicester. It can only be raised within the borough of Bolton. And that's the key message, that every year we have to raise £5.5 million. And I think it's important, that we as Asian, take part in this journey as well, to raise these funds.
But what if somebody from Leicester wants to give a bit of money to Bolton Hospice? Would you refuse that?
No, not at all.
Does that create any legal complications?
No, not at all. As long as we don't actively go into, say, Bury or into Preston or
because they have their own fundraising, and then you don't overlap basically. But if somebody wants to happily, voluntarily donate something, then there are no legislation where they can't.
We have lots of Boltonians.
Just a matter of clarification.
Living outside of Bolton who regularly support us from a far afield. Sure.
Okay, gentlemen, let's have a final message before I convey my message. Latif bhai, what would you like to say, your final message to our audiences? Because this program is going to go to 13 countries, local to global. And inshallah, most probably 1.2 million people will be watching this. So this last message would be your selling point.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And I say the selling point in a positive way.
No, thank you very much for your time. I think it's important that people realize the facility that we've had on the doorstep, and the fact that we should support this in any way we can, large or small. Everything helps, and everything sort of gives back to keeping the hospice services sort of delivering for everybody.
Adrian, your last message to all of us.
Just to repeat what I said earlier, really. Hospice care is about living. And at Bolton Hospice, we're about living well, making treasured memories with loved ones, and enjoying absolutely every single moment. And we couldn't do that without the support of the local community.
Ambassador of Bolton Hospice, Muntazir bhai, your message. My message, first of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity. I think it's absolutely wonderful. for us to have this opportunity to make our Asian community out there, fully aware of what Bolton Hospice is about, or other hospices in other towns and cities. The key message I would say is that sometimes it can be very lonely being when you get diagnosed with any illness. But remember, you're not on your own. There's help out there. Just reach out. And even if you're suffering with cancer, or and if you're having even a treatment where it's correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian, but if you say, for example, you might have to go for chemotherapy in Manchester, or at Christie's or other hospitals, again, you can choose to have your chemotherapy to have it done at the hospice as well. And also, while you're going through that journey, you can also just if you want to use the facilities which Bolton Hospice has, all different, they have spa, they have creational work, artwork, cooking, wherever your hobby is. Again, you can go and spend your days during the daytime, if you want a different atmosphere. All these services, again, is completely free of charge, which you can go anytime at the Bolton Hospice at the Wellbeing Hub.
Fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. So we were talking to Bolton Hospice team. We are very thankful to Latif bhai, Adrian and Muntazir bhai. અને આ એક બહુ સરસ મેસેજ છે કે જે ટાઉનમાં હોસ્પિસ હોય, જેમ કે અત્યારે બોલ્ટન હોસ્પિસ, ઈસ્ટ લેન્કેશાયર હોસ્પિસ, તમે જરાક એની માહિતી મેળવો, તમે એની સાથે થોડા કનેક્ટ થાઓ. ભલે તમારા ફેમિલી મેમ્બર આ વસ્તુથી અફેક્ટ ના થયા હોય, એ તો અલ્લાહના હાથમાં છે, પણ આવીને કદાચ તમને આ સર્વિસીસની જરૂર પડે, આપણા સમાજને પણ આ સર્વિસીસની જરૂર પડે, તો વેધર તમારા ફેમિલીને આ વસ્તુ અસર કરે કે ના કરે, તમે હોસ્પિસની સાથે જોડાઓ, વોલન્ટિયર્સ તરીકે જોડાઓ. તમામ મસ્જિદોને અને ફેઇથ કમ્યુનિટીના બીજા જે સેન્ટર છે તેને અપીલ કરવામાં આવે છે કે તમે જે કંઈ ફંડ રેઝિંગ કરો એમાંથી થોડાક પર્સન્ટેજ આવી બોલ્ટન હોસ્પિસ જેવી જે સામાજિક સેવાઓની સંસ્થાઓ જે આપણને ક્લિનિકલ મદદ કરે છે, મેડિકલ મદદ કરે છે, સાયકોલોજીકલ મદદ કરે છે, સ્પિરિચ્યુઅલ મદદ કરે છે, અને આખી ફેમિલીને એક બહુ ડિફિકલ્ટ ટાઈમમાંથી બહાર કાઢવા માટે બહુ સરસ પ્રયાસો કરે છે. તો આપણે આવી સંસ્થાઓને કંઈક આપવું જોઈએ. ચાહે આપણે બ્રિટનમાં રહેતા હોય, ઇન્ડિયામાં રહેતા હોય, યા દુનિયાના કોઈ પણ ખૂણામાં રહેતા હોય, એ દેશ આપણો જ ગણાય. અને એ દેશ માટે, એ દેશ જો આપણને કંઈક આપતો હોય તો આપણી પણ ફરજ બને છે કે એ દેશને આપણે રિટર્નમાં કંઈક થોડું આપવું જોઈએ. તો બીબસ તરફથી વી આર વેરી ગ્રેટફુલ એન્ડ વી રિયલી પ્રેઝ એન્ડ એડમાયર ધી વર્ક ડન બાય બોલ્ટન હોસ્પિસ team, especially Latif bhai, Adrian and Muntazir bhai, and of course all those who are associated, connected and offering their services to Bolton Hospice. We really admire your services, we praise your services, and we'll try our level best to support you as much as we can in whatever way. And I would like to again pay this tribute to Bolton Hospice and all those who are in this field and who are looking after the human life so delicately, that किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, तो जीना इसी का नाम है, इसी का नाम है, इसी का नाम है. Thank you for watching this the Varediawala Show. It's been wonderful talking to this panel. I have learned a lot. You go out there and find out more about all this good work going on in your society and become an example of good practices. So Latif bhai, thank you. Adrian, Muntazir bhai, I hope you enjoyed talking to us as well. Keep watching Bebuzz. Keep tuning into Bebuzz from local to global. This is Imtiaz Patel Varediawala here, along with my producer, founder and CEO Farooq bhai Uradar. As usual, he's working behind the scenes so hard. And of course, our editor and studio manager, Sadab bhai. Thank you.